Okay, hello there everyone. So, today I want to talk about a story that kind of hits too close to home for yours truly. So, if you remember, this was about, I would say, a year ago. I had somebody collaborate with me on a YouTube poop. This was a recording of me back in April of 2021. I was like, this could go viral online. So, you want to see that video, I'll card it right now. It's a pretty funny video, but this is no laughing matter, folks. I am really hoping that now this video will convince Governor Hochul to finally repeal the bail reform that we have in New York. Because look what happened to Justin Credible. I mean, this was so disheartening when this came up in my YouTube suggestions. So we're going to watch the video, and his sister was, interviewed as well, but she was an eyewitness to what happened at this bar. So let's watch this video because, again, I'm just completely disheartened.
Pharmacy technician who went to a live music performance at a bar on Long Island says he was sucker punched for wearing a mask.
The sister, who was also wearing a mask, says she was harassed. As CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff reports, the family is offering a reward.
Justin and Melody are 25-year-old twins who are not sharing their last name as victims of an assault they say hurt physically and emotionally. The only
So again, please respect their privacy. That's why I gave Justin's YouTube name. So please, the last thing they need is more harassment. But again, you're going to hear me out. And this is why, again, I hope this video gets to the governor. So let's watch the rest.
ones wearing masks Thursday for live music at Prohibition Bar in Massapequa Park. Justin, who has Asperger's, says glaring looks from a large man at the bar was followed by a hard punch.
He was just saying, like, what the F are you trying to prove? All I said was, I'm not trying to prove anything.
He walked away, but moments later says the man punched him from behind.
He just comes charging into me, sucker punching me hard into the back, into the left side of my back, and I go flying into the band.
So we just had some musclehead punch some kid. Don't ever let that guy back in this place.
He had like knuckle marks on him.
Melody says the same man poured beer on her.
I felt somebody like pull the back of my jacket and my shirt and pour something down my back.
Nassau police were called and are investigating.
We're the only ones wearing masks because it's our choice.
The siblings have good reason to protect themselves and others. COVID struck close to home.
It's been so traumatic with the tremendous loss of our grandfather.
Any family member that has lost someone to COVID, you know, they would understand.
So this part of the video, we're going to briefly talk about Justin's grandfather. And I remembered back in 2020 when he passed away. And I know the feeling of losing people you known during COVID. I mean, look what happened to the bellhop at my building at Northwell. Ever since then, they've put Northwell security in my building. And, you know, an ex-girlfriend of mine, she lost her uncle, so it's crazy. It's really, you know, there's no compassion. You know, I mean, again, if you want to wear a mask, that's, you know, I don't judge people if they want to wear a mask. You know, that's on their end. That's their lifestyle. You know, we should respect each other's lifestyles. You know, it's not right. You know, it's just not. And mind you, I still wear my mask when I'm on public transit. Just for the record. So let's go back to this part.
Grandfather.
Any family member that has lost someone to COVID, you know, they would understand why we're probably more cautious.
Their mother says they're often mocked.
Now to have people being assaulted and harassed by other people just for protecting themselves. It's disgusting.
The twins' father offered a $1,000 reward for information leading to the identity of the man. That got widely posted on social media, and tips began pouring in.
It's like a hate crime. It's not cool. It's not okay.
The family says the bar owner has been supportive and helpful. In Massapequa Park, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS 2 News.
As CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff reports, the family.
So, again, this is what happens when, again, and I commented in the video, if I get taken down for it, you know what? Let Paramount censor me. I don't really care at this point. Because that's who owns these owned and operated CBS stations. But, you know, again, this is what I've been telling people. I've been saying this since December of 2019. I was the first one out of all the YouTubers to publicly denounce bail reform. Wasn't I the first one? I clearly was. And look what's happened. So, whoever this buff guy is who assaulted Justin, you know, I got a bad feeling he has a prior. And what's a prior, you may be wondering? Well, a prior, to be more specific, is when you've committed a similar crime or something different, and it ends up on your public record, and of course, that's stored in state, federal, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but problem is, this is a state charge. So the only way that this buff guy, we're going to call him a buff guy. How about that? This buff guy, and I'm going to pull it up right here. And this is what I want Ann Donnelly to do. I'm calling out the Nassau DA. Right? This was the reason why she was elected in November of 2021. Here we go. Read this. Assault in the third degree is a Class A misdemeanor and is therefore punishable by up to 1 year in the local jail. So, this is the important one I want you to read right here. Lesser penalties such as a conditional discharge, fines, community service, and or surcharges. Now, before the bail reform law took effect in January of 2020, and again, this is what happens with people. They don't read up on the laws like I do. And when this bail reform was announced in late 2019, I read up on it. Nobody else did. So, originally it was 1 year. Now, what they do is, in the state of New York, because of bail reform, they will put you in prison for 24 hours. Okay? 24 hours. Felony assault, gun charges, drug possession, you name it. Now, in the state of Delaware, you get held in prison until your court date. They don't let you out. In New York, different story. Different story. What they do is, they let you out the next day, they give you a death ticket appearance. That's what they do. That's what they do. For Justin's situation, and I had reached out to him privately, so I'm hoping that Ann Donnelly, the Nassau DA, is going to upgrade the charges. This is how this tough guy can avoid bail reform. Face the real consequences, as I like to call it. Because I looked up some loopholes. Felony charges like Lee Zeldin this summer. I reached out to Lee Zeldin over the summer, and because of me, the guy who assaulted him, federal charges. You know why? Lee Zeldin, federal employee of the federal government. Thank me on that, folks. Thank me for helping Lee Zeldin out over the summer. So, in Justin's situation, I can get the guy who punched him a little favor, which I'm hoping I can reach out to Ann Donnelly if this guy is caught. I will be encouraging Peter King, chairman of Nassau GOP, who I know very, very well. I will reach out to him, and I know he will do this because he's going to be upset about this just as I am. Especially because this happened in his own hometown of Massapequa. Ann Donnelly will definitely pursue a first-degree Class B violent felony assault charge. Alright? Maximum sentence can be 25 years. Minimum can be 5-year prison sentence. Okay? So, let's put her picture on the screen, because she knows who she is. I'm calling her out right now if this guy is caught. Yep, so this is who I'm calling out. Okay? This is her responsibility. Alright? Her responsibility. Just like how if Justin was assaulted in Queens, you know I would be calling out Melinda Katz. And then, let's go to the last person we need to call out in this video. Alright? Our governor. Now, let's just be realistic here. If this lady can repeal bail reform, maybe I would consider staying in New York. Maybe. By the grace of God, I would consider staying. But because we have this messed up system where a Class A felony means you spend 24 hours in prison and you get out the next day, like my friend over the summer, another friend of mine who got assaulted in West Hempstead, okay? This is the cycle, the agony of repeat, over and over and over again with these dangerous criminals who get let out, and nobody wants to denounce this. Nobody does. It's like we've gone backwards with the judicial system in New York. Kathy Hochul, you are at fault for this. And same with you too, Andrew Cuomo. Even though you resigned last year. You resigned last year. Alright? She's responsible for this too, because she served as lieutenant governor. Alright? I mean, imagine, God forbid, she was in Justin's shoes. God forbid. Would that make her repeal bail reform? Violence is not the answer. You know, it never is. But God forbid it happened to her. God forbid it happened to her. And I would never want to see, you know, a Republican or Democrat assaulted. God forbid. Would that make her rethink the bail reform? I know I don't want it happening to anybody else, but please. I mean, this is the broken system in New York. So, I hope Justin Credible gets justice. I hope his sister gets justice. And again, I'm going to say this again. All right? Ann Donnelly, this is your responsibility. This is your responsibility. You were elected in November of 2021 to represent the people of Nassau County. You have a job to do, lady. And as for Kathy Hochul, you know, I pray for her in one sense that, you know, maybe she'll see what's going on. Maybe she'll reverse course. I know she'll lose support from the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. But the old school Democrats, the old Ed Koch type Democrats, they'll respect her for changing the bail reform law. So let's end this bad cycle of repeat violence. Let's end it. Because before November, my bad. I'm losing track of time. Before January of 2020, this never happened. But because Cuomo said we need to get the complete elimination of bail. He said that in an interview. I don't want to make this political, but this is about common sense. This is about what's doing right for the people of New York. And sure, as I mentioned earlier, I can do a favor for Justin if this guy is arrested. In this situation, given that I have my experience with law, given that I've been educated on this ridiculous system for the past 2 years, you are very lucky that I can do a favor. You're very lucky that I can do that. Because I'm ready to give Pete King the phone call. I am lucky enough I can do that. If it does come to that. And if, you know, Ann Donnelly says, I'm not going to upgrade the charges. Well, believe me, we'll make her upgrade the charges. That's why you're a district attorney. Even I know the stuff, and even I'm not in the Bar Association. So again, let's hope that Justin and Melody get justice. I hope so. I hope Ann Donnelly's watching. I'm hoping Kathy Hochul's watching, because this one example of intolerance for others has to stop. Because, again, it's repeat and repeat and repeat. And I wish this bad cycle would end already. So that's it.